Hello.
Hello.
It's Lauren and Kylie here from MyMoneyZen, where we teach people how to make the most of their everyday money. And today's money tip is around how to talk to your partner about money without getting crusty at each other, which is tough.
Yes, and we already filmed this one once.
Yeah, and it was really good.
It was so good. We ran out of storage space and we're like so charming and everything.
So funny.
But yeah, so we're going to try and recreate it for you.
See how we go. So, when it comes to relationships, people come together with very different money experiences. And talking about money and talking about finances can often be a very big source of conflict and frustration and stress within relationships. So we've got 4 tips to share with you on how to talk to your partner about money.
And they're not just like, we're going to make 4 tips up or whatever. Like, this is stuff we actually use. We actually genuinely use and love, so it works good for us.
Totally. And normally how this comes about is I'm struggling with something and then I go and ask Kylie, like, what do you do when this happens? And then she's got all the answers. So,
I've got some answers.
Yeah, they're really good. And I could definitely make a video another time, like on what not to do. So I can do that at some point if you like.
All right, so
okay.
So we've got 4. You remind me what it is, and then I'll talk.
So tip number 1 is, tip number 1 is, look at each other.
Yeah, look at each other. Yeah. So this goes for anytime you're trying to sort something out with your partner, whether it's, something else or money related. Don't try to sort stuff out while you're doing other stuff. So like unpacking the dishwasher and we're talking about money, Your attention is split. And as we know, so much of you're cutting the top of my head off.
Sorry there.
So much of our communication is non-verbal, and so when you're not looking at each other, it's so easy to actually and not even fully properly listening, It's so easy to miss each other and then sort of like start going off in the wrong, directions, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're crusty at each other,
Yeah.
And no one intends for it to go that way. And, look, sometimes we have to multitask and whatever, but anything that's like really important and potentially, has a bit of charge around it, sit down and look at each other, and it's a habit a lot of the time. It's just like we just launch into these things.
Yeah.
But if remind yourself, don't allow yourself to talk about really important things while you're doing other things.
Totally.
The other thing is if you're looking directly into your partner's eyes, you're a lot nicer, because you can see the impact. You can directly see, the impact of what you're saying on them, and it just brings out the best in you. So
yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, tip number 2 is sweeten the deal.
Yes. So we've covered this one in another video before. And it's basically, the suggestion is to go to a coffee shop or just another place that appeals to you, to have the conversation. So, or do the work or whatever it is that you need to do.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that little bit nicer, you get a nice coffee, everyone's out having a nice time, it shifts the energy, and you're also starting to sort of set the standard for what you want these conversations to be like,
and feel like.
And you're essentially saying like, this doesn't have to be a horrible thing. Like, this is a, positive part of our life, and we want to have positive conversations.
Yeah. Awesome. So it's not just for when you want to talk about things like money, but it can be from other tasks that you want to do that kind of are a bit difficult and you don't really want to do, so let's sweeten the deal on it and go on. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so tip number 3 is set a time in advance. Maybe I'll talk about this one.
You can talk about this one.
From experience. So this one is about rather than, how thoughts come to us and we're really frustrated about something, and like that's when it's most important to us, and that's when we want to bring it up with our partner and be like, this thing, I want to talk about it right now. Not a good idea.
Because they're not necessarily in the same space as you. They might be having a nice little relax and you're like, come in and shake that world up.
Yeah. And if you do that multiple times and you still like, don't get a great reaction, or you get some resistance because they're definitely not in the space to talk about it, then you end up feeling like, you never want to talk about this, and we're never gonna work through this. So I asked Carly what to do in this situation, and she suggested like it's best to make a time in advance, like when the thoughts come up and you're like, we need to deal with this,
because that's valid, like if you're having a feeling like, this really needs attention, I'm concerned about this or whatever, that's fair enough, but just by flagging it with them and saying, hey, I really would like to talk about this, can we make a time? And then that person has like choice in it as well. Yeah,
totally. And then you're both when you come to the time to talk about it, that you set in advance, you're both mentally prepared for it. You knew it was coming up, you're in the right headspace, and it's just such a better way to do it. Okay, tip number 4 is about the outcome. What are the outcome? What the outcome is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up in like, blah, 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 blah.
Rewind.
Say it. Okay, you go again.
Tip number 4 is be aware of what outcome that you want to have from the conversation.
So the answer to this may not be what you think it is, because we often think of just the goal and the thing that we're trying to sort out. However, the most important outcome is that you actually remain a team. So if you're able to have conversations about money and still be on this, same team at the end of the conversation, that is a win,
Totally.
So even if you only, sort a quarter of it out, even if you like tried to talk it out but you didn't get anywhere, but you're like, right, well, we're committed to, keep talking about it and, go us for sitting down and chatting. I think too often we get focused on what, the topic is, like, we need to go to a mortgage broker or whatever it is, whatever the topic is, or we need to do our budget or whatever. We get focused on just that and we forget about the relationship, So, like, don't worry so much about what you think you need to get done. Have the commitment to get it done, but the most important thing is that you actually have a positive experience together, and that you remain a team, and being okay with that, like Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, and your money life together is a journey. And I totally lost my train of thought just
then. It was really good though.
Oh, good.
So basically...
being okay with actually like not resolving some things, and going, well, we tried, let's come back to it.
It may take a few of those goes to actually get on a similar page, because we have got such different experiences that we bring into that relationship.
But at least when you when you go to tackle it again, you're like, let's do it, because you're not thinking like, oh, that was awful, let's
really
never do that again.
Totally. So that's our 4 tips for how to talk to your partner about money without getting crusty at each other.
No crusties.
Let us know what you think, and whether you have some other tips that people could benefit from. We'd love to hear them.
Totes.
Comment below with your tips and tricks, and we will see you next time. And if anyone wants that video on like what not to do, let me know. I can make one for you. Okay, bye.
Bye guys.